My friend, this is Home on the Range. We're going to be playing out of the 50 all-time greatest ukulele songs. It is volume 1 on page 66. I'm not being sponsored by this. I just happen to enjoy the book. If you enjoy it too, maybe pick it up. It's a big old yellow book you can find on Amazon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the first measure, see that it has 1 sharp in the key signature. That first sharp is an F sharp. So that means that we're going to be playing every single one of our F notes right here as this. Bloop. So the chords we're going to be doing in this are going to be the G major. You can play it like barring the whole top half here and putting a second finger down. Or you could put one first finger on the D note, all the way up top, put a finger on the B note, and then wrap your third finger around for the third string on the E for the G. That also gives you the G major, G, B, D. The next chord we know, it's everyone's favorite, the C major. The way I like to show it is the third finger feels the most comfortable, but heck, you could even play an F major and then switch it to a secondary fingering, scoot it up, and make a bar chord at the 3rd fret for the same chord. Ta-da! C major, or I'm sorry, not F major, an A major. There it is, so big old bar. Ta-da! Same chord, same idea. So when we're going to the next chord, the A7 is gonna be like the A major, except we're not gonna play the A note, we're just gonna leave it open with the G to give you the 7th of the chord, and then G natural. When we play the D major, a lot of people play with 3 fingers down. That's completely awesome. Just make sure you keep this top string away from your nose, the A string, open. And then if you want, you might be able to try this. The caveat is being able to take your finger and press it flat against all 3 of those strings whilst keeping it up so that A string can ring true. So the next chord we're gonna play uses that bar chord, whether with the 2nd finger or with the 1st finger, and then it puts our finger on a C note, giving a D7. Both ways are acceptable, and they're a great way to learn how to play a shape of a chord in 2 different fashions with the 2 different fingerings. You can also play just the low and the high note, closest to your note, the A note, and then the closest, the note up here is gonna be the F sharp, with the open C, and then the open A gives you a D7 as well. So it's 2 ways to play the same thing. We also know the A minor is gonna be a 1-note chord right here. Ta-da! It's kind of like the antecedent to the C major. You learn them together, they're 1-note chords, they're wonderful. And then the last one, I want to show you 2 ways. Most people learn how to play an E minor like this. First finger on the B, 2nd finger on the G, and the 3rd finger on the E. With the open G gives us E, G, B. Oh, sorry. And then when we play that, we could also see it like playing an F major with a D note is an F6 or a F6 is a D minor. We could also move our 1st finger off, put our 2nd finger where our 1st finger was, move our 2nd finger where it was, and bring the pinky on. Same chord, D minor, just different fingerings. And when we scoot this up and bar at the 2nd fret using that same shape, we get an E minor. Same thing as this. Ta-da! Those are all the chords. So for the first measure, we see that the first note is gonna be a pickup note. Why? There's only 1 quarter in the first measure. There needs to be 3 because the time signature is 3/4, meaning there are 3 beats per measure and the quarter note gets beat. So every time that we see those measures, it's good to say that. In 4/4, we would say there are 4 notes per measure and the quarter note gets the beat. The reason why the quarter is because the bottom denominator, the 4, it talks about what's actually receiving that beat. If we were to have an 8, we would have, I don't know, 6/8. That means there are 6 notes per measure and the 8th notes get the beat. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once we do it over and over again, it becomes easier. For this, what I like to do is all downstrokes. So we're gonna go down, 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 down. We're gonna count to 2 and then play our first note. 1, 2, oh. And then when we come into the first chord, we're gonna have a G major. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, C. 2, 3, 2, 2. Here comes a G. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. D major. Notice that A7 there. We're going to be moving from the G, the 1 chord, going to an adapted major 2nd chord, made as a dominant 7th. And then we're going to be moving that into a D major, and then our aforementioned D7. Cool how that is a passing and moving chord. Wonderful said. And then it's going to go to another G major, hold out that rhythm, back to the C. 1, 2, 3. A minor, G major, D7. then back to that G. Now you can play these a different way, a couple different ways if you want. If you're struggling with the chords, try and play bar chords with the G, and then try this triangle shape as well. When we go through the whole process, the only thing that's a little bit weird comes in that fifth grouping, that stanza. So it's gonna be an E minor. We're gonna hold the E minor down. We're then gonna shift over to an A7. So what we're gonna wanna do is use our first finger, not our second finger, not our third finger. E minor, shift to the C sharp, wonderful change. And then we're gonna play that D major with our second finger as a big old bar, squishing them down. If you wanna play all three fingers, it changes the mechanism. Go slow and have fun with it. The melodies that we're gonna be counting in here are gonna rely on us being able to go 2 on the second fret of the C string, giving us 2 D notes. Quarter, 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 and then B. When we're going through the process of reading the book here, they give tablature. However, I would suggest reading the sheet music so you can start reading notation as it is written in hand form. This book's good for that because it actually looks like it's written in hand form. I hope you enjoyed Home on the Range. Once again, you have a couple different verses, so don't go too fast or too loud in the beginning. Maybe try something like, oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are all cloudy all day. 3, 1, 2, 3. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all. Last verse, maybe try, instead of playing just a G major, squish down both the G and the C note to get a G sus. And then take your finger off that C note for the resolution back to the G, B, D. Hope you had a great time. I did.